Hey, this is Shake from Love is Blind, and you're watching the Dominic Natty Show. Man, people really don't like me on your
I know.
podcast.
Have you and Emily talked about getting married? Is it getting that serious?
We talked about it, yeah. Yeah. I mean not like when are we getting married, but more like I'm not going to be spending my time with somebody who I'm not ready to like commit to big time now. Like I'm not going to make it official with somebody I'm not like ready to like be serious with. I went on that show ready to get married. I wanted to get married, you know. I mean, it didn't work out, and that's fine. But I'm at a point in my life where that's what I want. Like I want a forever partner, and basically we kind of cut to those points pretty quickly. Let me just say, this is the happiest I've ever been. I'm like totally in love.
Do you think that it's possible that you and Emily will get married this year?
I don't know about that. I think that's a
That's too
pretty
quick.
aggressive move.
In regards to looks, like how would you rate Emily and how would you rate Deepti on a
Oh,
scale
dude,
of
you're
one?
gonna get me in really like hot water talking about stuff like that.
Well, I
I'm not a
mean,
fan of rating women.
people are upset. They feel like you're shallow because of the things that you've said on the show. Is that
Mm.
unfair? Right? So it's like, are looks a really big thing to you? And do you find Emily a lot more attractive than Deepti?
Yeah, I'll say that. Absolutely.
You mentioned wanting a girl that you could easily put on your shoulders. So, does that mean that you only think that skinny girls are attractive? And if so,
Absolutely not.
that's not what you were
Absolutely
saying.
not. I find all types of women attractive. That's one of like the big misrepresentations of the show. You know, I am so attracted to all types of women. I love it all. But when it comes to like something like marriage, like I do have a stronger preference for a certain type for marriage. You know what I mean? But like somebody says, my man's can't handle us thick women. Well, there's some truth to that. I'm I'm a scrawny dude. I'm like a lanky, scrawny dude. I wish I was big enough and strong enough to like pick up, you know, like maybe like a thicker woman and like have that and like because as a man it feels good. I love to pick my woman up. I love like picking Emily up or like I feel masculine when I can do that. And it would be hard for me if I had a girl that was bigger, and she might want somebody who can do that for her too. You know what I mean? It's a two-way street. But like I'm too skinny. I'm too skinny. I'm too weak in a lot of ways. So I would love if I was like this. Does that make sense? I don't think I need to say much more about that.
Okay,
If I was
but
strong
that's
enough to
not.
pick up the thick woman, I would do that too.
So it's about picking them up. Is that right? Like it's
Yeah, I like it. Everyone has their thing, all right? And like one of my things is like I like to pick my woman up. I like to like the other night, Emily always does this. Like, let's watch this movie. So like she'll pick the movie and then she falls asleep. I'm like, come on, at least let me pick the movie if you're just gonna fall asleep. So like I picked her up from here and I carried her into our bedroom and like I like tucked her in bed. And like as a man, I I love being able to do that, you know, to take care of my woman, to like pick her up and like, you know. So it would be harder for me if like I was with somebody I couldn't do that. I would feel like I this is like maybe even like a little chauvinistic of me, but like I would feel lesser of a man if I couldn't do that for my woman. And that's why I kind of tend to like a smaller woman.
how physical did you and Deepti get? Did you have sex with her?
No,
No.
no. And let me put it this way: there's like many opportunities where we could have, but like I felt in my heart of hearts that I didn't want my body to make a promise to her body. Like when, especially having sex with women. Us guys, sex is one thing, but for women, as a scientist, I'll say this: women release a lot of oxytocin when they have sex, and oxytocin is a love hormone. So when you have sex with a woman, there's a chemical pair bonding that happens that is like very powerful. And I didn't feel like it was right of me to do that when I was having such a tough time like committing to the relationship.
So it wasn't because you weren't attracted to her. Are you saying that's not why you didn't have sex with her?
Well, I wasn't. I mean, yeah, I wasn't attracted enough. I mean, like as a man, like, this is gonna sound really bad. It's controversial. Here we go. Are you ready? Like as a man, like having sex is not that big of a deal. Like if you're horny enough, like yeah, you like you could have sex with somebody like you don't necessarily feel is gonna be a long-term partner. I wasn't attracted enough to make that commitment to her.
When was the last time that you spoke to Deepti?
Like we haven't really talked since the reunion. I'm like hurt that like she's playing up this victim thing so hard when we had so much fun and I took so good care of her.
I mean, after this reunion, which literally everybody was against you. I mean, did you talk with anyone off camera or in the DMs since the reunion?
I felt everybody on the show they they wanted to like just they just kind of just became people who would do anything and say anything to protect their image. That was crazy to me. And I started kind of seeing it and calling it out, and they
Mm-hmm.
did not like it. They did not like it. It turned into people will just lie through their teeth just to protect their image and align with whoever they need to align with to protect their image. No truly new information was revealed during like the show. But once people saw public perception, they aligned themselves with either this person or that person. Oh, this person's America's sweetheart now. Like we're on this person's team. I'm not going to say any names, right? This person's the villain. We need to not take a stand against him. These were the same people I was spending time with like a week before, literally a week before the show came out. They all knew all of this, but once they knew who was going to be hated and who was going to be loved, they jumped ship and aligned themselves. And it was the most like obvious show of like I care about my image above else that I've ever seen. Kyle's thing where he's like, Shake, you screwed up. I should have proposed to Deepti. I was literally watching the Super Bowl with him and Deepti and Shane 1 week before that. So to feel that like now the cameras are on, you're gonna like say something like that? Like why didn't you tell me the 50 times we hung out before? Why'd you
Right.
have to, that meant that was saved on purpose to be a dramatic statement. Like kind of at my expense, even though I didn't really feel like hurt by it. Like it was kind of at my expense that the statement was made.
So you're not friends with anybody from this cast. You don't talk to
No,
anyone.
no. Why would I? Why would I? They revealed their character.
Who went on the show for fame and not for love? Who is it?
I mean, I definitely feel probably at the very top of that list is Kyle. I mean, everybody did to some degree because it's an exciting part of going on a show. Nobody goes on it like blind to the fact that they're gonna, but some people made it their whole personality, like their whole being, and that person is Kyle for sure.
So
I
Kyle
mean,
had no interest. He was just doing this to be on TV.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I will say that. I mean, I don't respect the guy. I lost a lot of respect for the guy.
Right. So it wasn't about him finding love. Is that what you're saying? It was about the opportunity for fame and exposure.
For Kyle, it was because I know he applied to like 10 different shows. So that
Okay.
tells me that it wasn't about love. Everybody else is like, okay, yeah, I never thought I'd be on reality TV until this popped up in my life. And then meanwhile, it's like Kyle was trying to get on any show, like taking acting lessons, doing all this shit, like.
There's speculation that Shane is on drugs. Like, do you think this is true, or did you see anything that might make you think that Shane is using cocaine?
I'm not allowed to say. I'm not allowed to say anything to that extent, but all I can say is use your critical judgment and don't be an idiot. And everything you're thinking is probably right.